In 1959, when women were told their place was in the kitchen, one determined entrepreneur stormed into a toy fair with a revolutionary idea. A doll that dared girls to dream beyond motherhood. The male executives laughed. They said it would never sell. But Ruth Handler was about to prove them all wrong, and change the way generations of girls saw their future. Born in 1916 to Polish Jewish immigrants in Denver, Colorado, Ruth Moscow's early life was far from the glittering success she would later achieve. The youngest of 10 children, she watched her family struggle to make ends meet in their modest home. But even as a young girl, Ruth showed the fierce determination that would later define her career. While her peers played with dolls, Ruth was already displaying an entrepreneurial spirit, helping at her sister's drugstore and dreaming of building something bigger than herself. By age 19, she had moved to Los Angeles with her high school sweetheart, Ruth Handler. Carrying nothing but ambition and $10 in her pocket, the young couple started crafting furniture in their garage, with Ruth handling the sales and business side. But it was just the beginning of what would become one of the most remarkable business stories of the 20th century. What many don't know is that before Mattel became a toy giant, it was a picture frame company. And Ruth was the one who suggested using the scraps to make dollhouse furniture, showing early signs of her innovative thinking. The success of these early ventures gave Ruth a taste of what was possible. But the male-dominated business world of the 1940s and 50s was about to test every ounce of her resolve. While running the growing Mattel company alongside her husband, Ruth noticed something that would spark her greatest innovation, but also her greatest challenge. Her daughter Barbara was playing with paper dolls, but not in the traditional way. Instead of treating them like babies, Barbara and her friends were using these flat paper dolls to act out their future lives as adult women. The existing baby dolls of the time didn't allow girls to imagine themselves as grown-ups with careers and adventures. Ruth saw an opportunity, but when she proposed creating an adult-figured doll, she hit a wall of resistance. The all-male executive board at Mattel dismissed her idea as inappropriate and unmarketable. Mothers won't buy their daughters a doll with breasts, they argued. But Ruth refused to back down. During a family trip to Switzerland in 1956, she spotted a provocative novelty doll called Build Lily in a shop window, an adult-figured doll that was actually a gag gift for men. Ruth bought 3 of them, seeing past their nature to their potential as a template for her vision. Back home, she faced an uphill battle convincing Mattel's designers and engineers to transform this adult novelty item into an appropriate children's toy. The costs were enormous, the risks even bigger. Many advised her to abandon the project, warning that it could bankrupt the company. The pressure mounted as production delays and design challenges threatened to derail the entire venture. But perhaps the biggest challenge was yet to come. Convincing America's parents that this new type of doll wouldn't corrupt their daughter's innocence. After years of refinement and against all odds, Ruth's vision finally became reality on March 9, 1959. When Barbie made her debut at the American Toy Fair in New York, standing 11.5 inches tall, with her adult figure and sophisticated wardrobe, Barbie was unlike anything the toy industry had ever seen. But Ruth hadn't just created a doll. She had engineered a revolution in plastic. The development process had required entirely new manufacturing techniques to achieve the right vinyl formulation that would allow for both durability and the detailed sculpting needed for Barbie's features. Ruth insisted on quality that would justify the then expensive $3 price tag. She also broke new ground in marketing, becoming one of the first to advertise directly to children through the new medium of television. The doll was named after Ruth's daughter, Barbara, and earned the full name Barbara Millicent Roberts, complete with her own backstory as a teenage fashion model. But what truly set Barbie apart was her extensive wardrobe, designed by Charlotte Johnson, a real fashion designer. Every outfit was scaled perfectly, with tiny working zippers and authentic fabric choices. Ruth's attention to detail was obsessive. She insisted that the clothes be sewn with real garment construction techniques. Within the first year, Mattel sold 351,000 Barbie dolls. But Ruth's innovation went far beyond sales numbers. She had created something entirely new in the toy industry. A doll that wasn't just a toy, but a tool for imagination and aspiration. Barbie could be anything: a fashion designer, a business executive, an astronaut, a doctor. At a time when women's career options were severely limited, Barbie showed girls they could dream bigger. But success came with a devastating price. By the late 1960s, Ruth Handler was at the height of her power as Mattel's president, steering a company now worth millions. Then came the scandal that would erase her from the company she built. In 1974, Ruth and several other Mattel executives were charged with fraud and false reporting to the Securities and Exchange Commission. The investigation revealed that company officers had fabricated financial reports to inflate Mattel's profits and stock price. Ruth maintained she had been following the advice of financial experts, but she was forced to resign from Mattel in 1975. The scandal didn't just cost her her position, it cost her reputation. She pleaded no contest to charges of false reporting and was fined $57,000 and sentenced to 2,500 hours of community service. The woman who had revolutionized the toy industry was now portrayed as a criminal in the press. Most historical accounts of Mattel began downplaying her role, focusing instead on her husband Elliot, or simply crediting the company for Barbie's creation. Adding to this personal crisis, Ruth was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1970. After undergoing a mastectomy, she faced another harsh reality: the poor quality and limited options for breast prostheses available to cancer survivors. But even in this darkest chapter, Ruth's entrepreneurial spirit wasn't extinguished. Ruth Handler's story didn't end with her departure from Mattel. In a remarkable second act, she channeled her innovative spirit into founding Nearly Me, a company that revolutionized breast prostheses for cancer survivors. She approached this challenge with the same determination that had driven Barbie's creation, insisting on quality, comfort, and dignity for women who had undergone mastectomies. But her greater legacy lies in how she transformed children's play and challenged gender norms. Before Barbie, girls' toys were almost exclusively focused on motherhood and homemaking. Ruth Handler gave girls permission to imagine themselves as career women, athletes, leaders, and pioneers. Today, as we grapple with questions of gender equality and representation, Ruth's vision seems more relevant than ever. Barbie has evolved to include diverse body types, ethnicities, and careers, continuing Ruth's mission of showing girls they can be anything. Yet, despite creating one of the world's most recognizable brands and achieving over $1 billion in sales during her tenure, Ruth Handler's name remains largely forgotten outside toy industry circles. Her story reminds us that innovation often means fighting against the prevailing wisdom of your time. It's a testament to the power of persisting with your vision, even when the world tells you it's impossible. As new generations of entrepreneurs and innovators face their own challenges, Ruth Handler's journey from immigrant's daughter to toy industry revolutionary stands as an inspiration, not just for what she created, but for how she refused to let anyone define her limits. In her own words, written near the end of her life, Every little girl needed a doll through which to project herself into her dream of her future. If she was going to do role-playing of what she would be like when she was 16 or 17, it was a little stupid to play with a doll that had a flat chest. So I gave it beautiful breasts. And the reason Barbie has been such a success is because she is a tangible way for a little girl to dream about her future.